Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to Gaming It Out. You can call me Gigs, and today we're taking a look at a few more mods that I think are borderline essential for quality of life in this game. They don't break the game. Sometimes with mods you want to break the game and you want to change things drastically, and sometimes you just want to improve the experience of playing the game itself, and that's what I think these mods do. So we're going to take a look at a few today. I want to make note early on, they're all client-side, so if you have them installed, you can go from world to world, server to server, and they will just apply to you, so you don't have to worry about installing them if you're running a server or anything. If anybody else in the server wants them, just have them install them client-side. If not, not a big deal. But these are all client-side mods, and again, just quality of life. So right out of the gate, if you don't have Beppin EX installed yet, I'm going to card to a video in the top left corner right now that will walk you through installing Beppin EX, and it also walks you through installing Nslim, even though we don't use Nslim in this video. If you just want to use the Beppin EX portion of that video and then come back here, you'll have a place to put these mods, and I'm going to show you how to install them at the end of this video. But if you don't have Beppin EX installed, then it's not going to apply. You're going to need to go do that first. So it'll be at the top left card I mentioned. I'm also going to put it in the description and the pinned comment of this video, along with the links to all of these mods. So the first one we're going to take a look at today is very quick and very simple, and it's an equipment wheel mod. So usually you've got your hot bar up there in the top left, and you can open your inventory and move things around. But here, now we've got an equipment wheel. Lost the word for a second. And you can have it set up a few different ways. I like it where I just hover over it and let go, and it brings out the item I want. Now by default, it's set for both. So you can do it that way, or you can click an item and it'll select it. Either way you want to do it is fine. When you install this mod, by default, the key to use it is G. And I believe it does also have controller support now. And I believe the default on a gamepad is X, or whatever the equivalent of X would be. I know that in the description of this mod it says X is the default button on gamepads, on controllers. So hold G, mouse over where you want it to be. It also gives you the corresponding number to where it is in your toolbar. It's just an easier way. I don't personally love having to use 5, 6, 7, 8, and 8 in my toolbar. So this is just a cool way to get to those pieces without it being super inconvenient. If I want my hoe out, I can have my hoe out like that. If I want to get my weapon back out, it's a much quicker way to do it, and I prefer it. We'll talk about when we install this mod. I'll also show you how to go in and adjust the config file. Config file, that was weird. So that you can change the key if you don't want it to be G, but by default it is G. The second mod we're going to take a look at is Better Archery. And basically, it's just kind of a revamping of the archery mechanics in the game. I'm sure you've noticed as you've used bows that they're a little wonky, and they get easier to use as the quality gets better, but the system itself is just a little bit wonky. You can't really trust your crosshair. It's either going to go above or below. And what this mod does is it just reworks the physics a little bit so that you can trust your crosshair a little more, right? You see, we're much closer. Now, it also gives you a chance at recovering an arrow that you fire. And with needle arrows, the chance is like 10%. On the mods page, which again will be linked below, it gives you the percentage of recovering an arrow per arrow type. So wood arrows, the chance is decently high. Stone arrows, it's decently high. Fire arrows, there's a 0% chance. Needle arrows, it's 10%, etc. So it'll depend on what kind of arrow you're using, but it's just a revamp to the system. Now there is also a quiver option in this mod, but it's not compatible with some of the other mods I'm using. And since there are issues with it, by default, the quiver option is off. So if you want to have the quiver, you can check out the mods page, and it'll walk you through going in and making sure that you don't have any mods that are going to conflict with the quiver option, and then how to turn that option on in the configuration file. I'm not going to be going over that here because again, it's off by default, so it's not going to be a problem for you. Better Archery is still going to work, and it's just a good revamping of the system. Archery feels like a much more viable tool. It's the arcing of the arrow is nice, and again, you've got a chance to be able to recover an arrow after you fire it. It's great. It makes archery much more viable, like I said, a lot more fun to do, and it doesn't break the game. Like I said, we're not trying to break the game here. We're just trying to improve some things. So that's that for Better Archery. And then last, but certainly not least, the mod that we're going to talk about here. It's very quick, it's very simple, and it's just auto repair. So as soon as you interact with a forge or a workbench or whatever, it's just going to auto repair everything in your inventory. Again, very minor. It's not that big of a deal, and it's really not that hard to come over and click the button, but sometimes you forget, and sometimes you just don't want to come have to spam the button. This way, every time you interact with a workbench or a forge, it just auto repairs everything in your inventory, and you're good to go. You can just kind of forget about it, get back to your business. Very simple, quick, and easy mod, and again, I personally don't think it breaks the game. Maybe some people would disagree with that, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. So that's it. Real quick, 3 mods that I think are fantastic. We're compiling quite the list here. I may have to do a video soon of what I think a good stack of mods is for starting a new world. As far as quality of life and just enhancing gameplay without breaking the game too much. So if you guys want to see that, let me know. I will start working on putting something like that together and potentially even start a new Let's Play with all those new mods at play. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you are excited about installing these mods. If you have any questions, drop them below. And now we're going to get over to the part where I talk about actually installing and then configuring the file for the equipment wheel so that you can change it from G if you want to change it. Okay, so now we're going to start with the installation of these mods. Again, I'm assuming that you've gone and installed Bepin EX. If you have not done that, check out the pinned comment or the description of this video. There will be a guide that will walk you through step by step on installing Bepin EX, which you are going to need for all 3 of these mods. So I'm assuming you've done that, and we're going to go from there. So we'll start with the Jeeves mod. You're on the file page, which is also linked below. It's going to bring you straight here. You just scroll down, you click manual download. It's going to tell you that you need Bepin EX. You're going to say okay. You're going to click download, and then slow download will be fine. It's still pretty fast, honestly. Now, if you watch the Bepin EX video, I mentioned creating a folder somewhere just to have all your mods stored, okay? So in our case, if you haven't done that, just on your desktop, create a new folder, name it whatever you want to name it. For the sake of this video, I've named it 3 new Valheim mods. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this zipped folder that we just downloaded, and I'm going to drag it over into the 3 new Valheim mods folder. So it looks like this. Then you're just going to right-click it. You're going to click Extract All. You're going to let it extract into this folder. Now you've got an unzipped version of what you just downloaded. So now you can actually get it and access that file, right? Now that you've done that, I want you to open up Steam. I want you to go in your library. I want you to go down to Valheim, right-click, Manage, Browse Local Files. That is going to bring up your Valheim directory right here to this folder. Again, you should have Bepin EX installed at this point. So you're going to click the Bepin EX folder, go in there. You're going to go into the plugins folder. You're going to open up the folder over here to get to this jeeves.dll, and then you're just going to click it and drag it over into this folder. So bam, it's going to ask me if I want to replace because I've done it. It's not going to ask you if you want to replace. It's just going to put it there. And then you'll be good to go. You see we've got jeeves.dll. Now it's in the game. Now you don't have to do anything else. When you're in the game and you go interact with a workbench or a forge, if Bepin EX was installed properly, now it will just auto repair all of your equipment. So that's how you do it with Jeeves. Now, with the equipment wheel, there's a little bit of an interesting moment that I want to be sure I talk about here. When you click download for equipment wheel, it's going to tell you that you need these 2. This is just Bepin EX. This is the same thing. It's just worded a little differently here, but you're fine here. And then this unstripped DLLs, I think this is only necessary if you're using another type of mod manager maybe. I don't have unstripped DLLs, and as you saw, everything worked fine for me. So don't worry that it says that you need unstripped DLLs. You don't need it. You just need Bepin installed. So ignore what this says, assuming that if you're here at this point, you're good to go. Don't worry about what these 2 things say. Again, you're going to click download. You're going to click slow download. And we're going to go through the same process. So after it downloads, we're going to drag it over into that 3 new Valheim VODs. There you go. Well, I drug it into the wrong place. Give me 1 second. Into here. You're going to drag it into the 3 new Valheim mods folder. You are going to right-click it. You're going to extract all. It's going to do the same thing. You're still going to have your Valheim directory open, and you're still in your DLL folder, in your plugins folder, right? So you're just going to click Equip Wheel, drag it over, and it's going to drop it in. Now, next time you load up Valheim, when you touch workbenches and stuff, it should auto repair, and if you are to hold G, it'll bring up the weapon wheel. Now, if you do need to load the game up once after doing this so that it creates the configuration file. So install this mod. If you don't want it to be G, close the game, go back into your Valheim directory the same way we talked about through Steam, open your BepInEx folder, open your config folder, and look for this one, virtuacode.valheim.equipwheel. You're going to open it. If it asks you what to open it with, just tell it Notepad. Notepad is ideal for these kinds of things. And you're going to see a bunch of stuff, and it's going to look crazy. Don't worry about any of that. Where you see the input section right here, default value, that just means right now that it's set to G. And this is all the acceptable values. So you can change it to whatever key you want on your keyboard. And then the hotkey down here is also G. So you would just change them. Or you could probably even leave default value to G, honestly, and just change the hotkey to whatever you want it to be. So just to test it out, I will set it to, oh, I don't know. Why don't I set it to E? I'll set it to E. Make sure that you save the file. So you can hit Control S or go up here and just hit save. And now when we load up Valheim, I should be able to use E when I do it. So we'll test that out right now. All right, real quick, we've loaded back in. G no longer works for the equipment wheel, but I hold E and it does. So just changing that hotkey option, I believe is what it was. Yes, just changing that hotkey to E did it, because G is no longer working, but E is now my hotkey. So whatever you want to set it to, just change that hotkey value to that key, and you'll be good to go. And then here we are for Better Archery. This one, again, is slightly different. It's a little bit more than a DLL file, but overall the same principle. So we're gonna go manual download on Better Archery. It's gonna tell you need BepInEx. You, of course, already have BepInEx. So we're gonna hit slow download. We're gonna let it do its thing. We're going to drag it over into that 3 new Valheim mods folder, the same that we've done before. We're gonna right-click it. We're gonna extract all. We're going to let it extract. Now we're going to open it up, and you'll see we've got this Better Archery folder, right? And in it we have 4 different things. When you open it up the first time and you're just looking at this Better Archery folder, in your Valheim directory, in the BepInEx folder, in the plugins folder, you're going to drag this folder, this Better Archery folder, you're going to drag the whole thing over into here like this, okay? Again, make sure you're not, if you have any other folders in here, make sure you're not dropping it into another folder. Drop it inside of this plugins folder here, and it's going to bring everything over with it. So it's not just the DLL file, it's this whole Better Archery folder. Drag it over just like you did just like you did this Jeeves.dll. You just drug that single file over. Now you're dragging the whole folder over, but it's the same thing. And then once it's there, you're good to go. So if you did all 3 mods before your first load up and you do want to change your hotkey for the equipment wheel, go ahead and do a load up. Let it create that configuration file for you. Exit out of Valheim, go in and edit the configuration file the way we talked about so you can change it to whatever hotkey you want it to be. And then you are good to go. Then these mods should work flawlessly for you. And again, very, very great quality of life, game enhancing mods without really changing anything fundamentally about the experience of Valheim. So that was it. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I hope that you enjoy the mods. I hope that I was thorough enough in my explanation. Please let me know below if there's anything you think I could do differently in these videos that would be more helpful for you guys. And again, don't forget to let me know if you would like to see a video of me compiling a big stack of mods that we start a new Let's Play series with. Lots of quality of life and, you know, all the mods that I've kind of compiled over the series of these videos. Definitely let me know if anything like that interests you. And other than that, I'm done rambling. I do appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you next time.